Hello, this is Pastor Scott, and welcome to the Daily Message. Today is Monday. It is November 2nd. Happy Monday. Please subscribe to the channel and donate. Links are down below in the comments section. Back outside. Honestly, with what I'm going to talk about, I thought about putting something a little stronger in this, but I decided not to. So that's a bad example. Yeah, so we're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about some different stuff today with the election. First, I'm going to do our cases as usual, so here we go. They're bad. All the case news is bad. 47 million global. They slow down. Kids live here. 47 million global. It was 43.5 last week. That's 500,000 per day. That's really high. U.S., we were at 9.5 million. Today, we were at 8.9 million Monday. That's about 100,000 per day. We had the highest day in history, U.S. history, I think, was Saturday. That's what Pastor Beth said, and she's usually right. Michigan, it's just exploded. 197,400 cases today. Last Monday, according to my notes, it was 175,600. So that's 22,000 new cases, which is 3,000 per day. That is a massive, massive spike. 3,000 cases per day is a lot. Hospital beds are at 812 are occupied, ICU beds, out of 1,048 here in our area. And it was 817 on Monday. So, the cases have spiked so far. People aren't going into the hospital more. Now, we're told that there's a lag there. Cases have been spiking for a week or two, so we would expect in a couple weeks that if things hold like they did in the past, that we would start to see the hospital beds fill up in a couple weeks. And, maybe they do, maybe they don't. There are some who think that this current virus is less lethal and that treatment has improved to the point where it's not as worrisome. Well, we're going to find out. It seems that we're going to find out because cases are certainly headed that way. So if you are especially if you're an at-risk person, if you're older or if you have some health problems, time to start being extra cautious again. Really, I mean, be extra cautious because cases are up. All right. Today's sign that is the apocalypse is the election. There are some things that you need to know. Some things that I think most of us don't know that are important pieces of our process, right? So the last election was marred by controversy, and a lot of that had to do with Russia and Russian interference in the election. The Russians did interfere in terms of misinformation right before the election and things like that. They did some stuff that would maybe sway votes one way or the other. But as far as we know, they didn't interfere in the actual voting, and nobody voted, illegally, and the vote counting was proper. All right, so it was a legitimate election from that perspective. You can say, well, the Russians interfered in by misinformation, and that's fine. But the actual election itself was totally legitimate. Okay. So, but now we're starting to get questions about whether this coming election will be legitimate or not, right? And so I want to share some things with you that I think will help you prepare. First thing is don't expect results overnight, okay? There are a lot of absentee ballots that are going to take a little bit of time to be counted. There's very possibly going to be litigation in courts here and there. There is a chance that it's a landslide for Biden, but otherwise, if it's not, there's probably going to be litigation and votes that get counted, and it's just probably going to take some time. So I would expect that. On Tuesday night, I'm going to bed at my normal time because I'm not expecting that it's going to be settled, and I'm going to get a good night of sleep. So the second thing is that every vote needs to be counted. All right, and this is important. Every vote needs to be counted, and then the results need to be honored. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit, but that is vital. Every vote needs to be counted. Even if there was disinformation, even if I was deceived by the Russian government, I'm still free to vote the way that I want to vote. okay? And every vote needs to be counted. So here's the process, okay? Here's the process that's set out, that's supposed to be used. And so we can tell if the vote is legitimate, if this process is followed. If this process is not followed, then it's a sign that it's not. Now, is there a chance the process could be followed and there's illegitimate stuff happening? Yes. Okay, that is possible. But a sign of legitimacy is if the process that is supposed to be used is used. And so we need to watch for that. We need to make sure that the process is outlined. Even if it doesn't go the way you want, okay, we need to follow the process. Most people don't even know what the process is. So here you go. The Electoral College will meet on December 14th. Okay, so that's the date to pay attention to. Make sure that the results of the Electoral College match up with the results that we expected from the popular election. Some shenanigans there could be that a state government could, if they wanted to, send in results that differ from the popular vote. That's something that they could do. That's a way that every vote is not counted, right? So we need to watch for that. But that's the date, September 14th. Hold on a second. Then, on January 6th, the new Congress certifies the election. Not the current Congress, but the one that will be voted in on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, by the way, if you're keeping score at home. The new Congress certifies the election, not the current one. So that's important, right? And there's a chance that the House and the Senate might not agree on that, okay? That's possible, because both chambers have to vote. If they don't agree, then the House votes for the president, and the Senate votes for the vice president. Interestingly, the House does not vote where every person gets a vote. The House votes where each state gets one vote. So however representatives there are from Michigan, they all get together, they vote for who they think should be president, and then that counts as one vote towards who actually becomes president. So Michigan gets a vote, Delaware gets a vote, California gets a vote, right? That's the process, right? Now, you can not like the process. You could say, well, that process sucks. I get it. But that's the process. We can't not follow the process just because we don't like the outcome. I remember when Trump was elected, there was a girl I know who said, we need to have another election. That's not the way it works, okay? You know, and the only way that the system works is if we believe it works, all right? And so if we decide that we're just going to toss the results because we don't like the way it turned out, well, that destabilizes the whole process. That makes it illegitimate, all right? And that destabilizes the whole country. So it is important that if all the votes are counted and this process is followed, that we all honor it. We say, you know what? It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. You might not like it, but it is what it is. Now, if it has some other signs that it is not legitimate, is if the government stops counting votes. If the government says, no, we've got enough, we're fine, we're done. Any government, right? As state government, your county government, the federal government doesn't count votes. But any government body that says, oh, we're just not going to count any more votes. That's it. That's a sign that's illegitimate. If a winner is declared by someone, anyone, not the media, because the media is, whatever. But if anybody in the government declares that the person who didn't get the most votes wins in any of these, not just president, but, county clerk, that's a sign that's illegitimate. And if someone who didn't win stays in power, or who didn't win tries to claim or take power, that is illegitimate as well. And there's a word for those last three things. If the government if the government stops counting votes, if a winner is declared who doesn't get the most votes, and if someone who didn't win tries to claim or stay in power, the word for that is a coup. That is the word. And so that's what we're watching for. We're watching for, and you might think, a coup? The United States? A coup? Really? I mean, there has been a coup in the United States. Google the Wilmington insurrection. All right? It happened. That was a local government, but it happened. There's no reason why it can't happen here. None. I know. It's crazy. That's why I thought about putting something a little stronger in this. That is what you need to know about the election. Now, if any of these things happen, we'll deal with it. All right? But our job as the people is to hold our government accountable And if they're not following the process, if they're not following the rules, regardless of the outcome, then the future of the country is at stake, right? Because we would then have an illegitimate government. And if that can happen, then anything can happen. Once that door is opened, it's hard to close it. We would have to take action, nonviolent action. So, stay tuned. We'll see what happens. That is today's sign that it is the apocalypse. Today's sign that it is not the apocalypse is that I am sitting on my front porch. The sun is shining. I am drinking a lovely Quarantino cappuccino. I am safe. I have a good job. My family is healthy. So is it the apocalypse or is it not? You decide for yourself. What's happening at church? I'm going to run down this real quickly because I'm running long today. You probably think that every time. We're launching a drive-in worship experience where you'll pull in your car and listen to worship on your radio. So that will be pretty cool. And we don't have that all together, but we're looking into equipment and we're trying to move as quickly as we can with this to get it going. Hello. Awesome. Thanks, man. Cool. Have a good one. We just got mail. Yeah, another sign that's not the apocalypse, right? So the drive-in worship experience, that's happening. We are also looking into ventilation in the sanctuary in terms of what we can do there to make it as safe as possible to have in-person worship in the sanctuary. So we're trying, right? We're looking into it. We're figuring stuff out. I'm talking to a company about some plexiglass, maybe things that we can do to make it safe. So we are working on it. Please don't think we're not. We're just not sure it's safe, and we're not sure, what we can do. So there you go. That's kind of what's happening at church. Our devotion for today is a good one in terms of the election. They're all good ones. Let's be honest. But we are going to 1 Timothy chapter 2. And this relates greatly to the election. And our prayer focus is going to be for our country and our government, right? So 1 Timothy 2, verse 1 and 2 says, "First of all, then, I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for everyone." That's nice. But particularly, it doesn't say particularly, but that's kind of the emphasis. "For kings and all who are in high positions, so that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and dignity." So, I urge prayers and supplications, intercessions, and thanksgivings for kings and all who are in high positions, so that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and dignity. And so I want to ask you to join me now in praying for our government, praying for both candidates, praying for a smooth election and a smooth process, and that this would just go well and we can have our faith restored in our process, and that there would not be, a coup or anything crazy like that. So, let's just get comfortable, and let's just breathe a little. Let's just breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth. Just breathe. God, we come before you now in prayer for our country. We, the people, are the country. And I pray right now for each and every one of us who live here, who are blessed to be here, and who have the responsibility of voting. And I pray that you would work through this election to accomplish your will and your purpose. I pray that you would be with and guide and lead and direct all our government officials. I pray for President Trump and for Joe Biden. And I pray for everyone who is in Congress and the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. I pray as well for all who are involved in the process of tallying and counting votes. Everyone from the people working the polls to those doing the actual counting. I pray, Lord, that you would be with each of them, that you would settle over this country like a warm blanket and just calm and soothe everyone. I pray that the polls would be a safe place tomorrow. If they are not, I pray for courage for those who are there to vote. And I pray that you would watch over this and lead and guide and direct our country, and that you would grow your reign tomorrow, Lord, that you would use this event, this election, to grow your reign on this earth, in our country, and in each of us. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So we will see what happens, right? We will have another conversation in the Daily Message on Wednesday. It's possible that I will not be blinded on Wednesday by this glowing orb in the sky that I haven't seen in several days, but who knows? Whatever happens, right? Whatever craziness, lunacy happens, remember, all right? Jesus is still risen. That hasn't changed. The tomb is still empty. That has not changed. Be smart, stay safe, love everybody, and I'll see you soon.